right, welcome back to another segment here for AWS Data Insights Day. I'm AM Grabelny, one of your hosts for AWS On Air. We're so glad to have you here, and I'm joined by Ashish. Please, Ashish, introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey, thanks, Am. I'm very excited to be here. I am Ashish Agarwal, Senior Product Manager at AWS. Today, I'm going to do a deep dive into Amazon Redshift Serverless.
Nice. All right, so we're going to be talking Redshift serverless. Now, Ashish, I mean, most people probably watching know that Amazon Redshift is in the data warehouse category of products. But for those who are unfamiliar with Redshift, before we even get to the serverless side, can we talk about data warehouses in general? What are people using data warehouses for? What types of problems are they solving? Why should they be interested in creating a data warehouse?
Customers are using data warehousing to get insights into their data. They want to be competitive in today's world. They want to find patterns in their data and improve business outcomes. And that's why they are using data warehousing.
I love the first topic here that you've got listed: modern data warehousing. Can we take a look at that slide? What is a modern data warehousing solution? What is that? What's comprised there?
Awesome. So let me walk you through it, how a modern data warehousing looks like. So customers have, diverse data types. It can be in various formats, and it can be accessed from anywhere. Data is not just, structured data. It can be unstructured data as well.
Totally.
Then in a modern data warehousing, it should be very simple to use, all complexity, in like managing the infrastructure, scaling it up, scaling it down, tuning it. All those capabilities should be abstracted, and customer should be able to start very quickly on it. So that's the second capability I would like to, say a modern data warehousing should have. It should scale automatically to the workload needs, because businesses today are quite unpredictable. The needs can grow quickly, and as well as it can come down very quickly. For example, Black Friday, when shopping happens, the demand shoots up, and then the demand goes down after that. The fourth capability here is customers are only willing to pay for what they use. They do not want to have, the infrastructure lying around all the time. And that's where a lot of, cost savings are inbuilt. Then customer wants leading price performance here, and they want the best price performance out of any warehousing capabilities. And finally, they should be able to do real-time and predictive analytics at any scale. So even if their data size increases, they should be able to do the analytics use cases without having to worry about performance. So that's what is modern day data warehousing.
Nice. Yeah. So and I see up here with that SQL connector too. So most people utilizing a data warehouse are probably going to be familiar with SQL. Most users for a data warehouse are going to be more of the data analytics type user, right? Maybe even some business users here trying to get some insights into their data. I love the diverse data types and formats also, because you're pulling. That's the whole point of a warehouse, right? Is you're pulling from all these different locations and then storing it into one, queryable place so that you can see data next to each other instead of in disparate systems. Sometimes you're not able to make, real clear analytics based decisions when you have data strewn all throughout your organization. So it's really, from what I'm hearing you say, one of the key pieces or hallmarks of a data warehouse is to be able to store it all together You want it simple to use, scale seamlessly, because again, the people using the warehouse aren't necessarily somebody like me. I'm more of the DevOps side. I'm more, I'm interested in scaling infrastructure, but that's because that's my job. The people utilizing a data warehouse aren't really, they're in there for insights, right? They're trying to get business insights and make decisions based off of the analytics and real-time predictive analytics that you described as well. Is that right, Ashish?
Yes, because that helps to improve the operational efficiency. Businesses can make very well informed decisions, and they can the innovation they can accelerate using the modern data warehousing capabilities that you just listed out.
Nice. So I see two or three, actually a couple of things here, at least two or three things here that kind of align with what we talk about when we talk about serverless. And you mentioned up top that we're here to talk Redshift serverless. So the simple to use and complexity abstracted, the scaling seamlessly, and the pay for only what you use. Those things are some of the key definitions of serverless in my mind for the serverless features that I'm familiar with, like Lambda and Fargate and things like that. Where do we see in the Redshift serverless side? How does that become serverless?
So before I deep dive, I just want to mention a few pain points that we have with a non-serverless world. Typically, customers have to manage the infrastructure, and they have to tune it, and they have to spend a lot of time in doing the technical aspects of a data warehousing. So with serverless, we have abstracted all those pain points and made it very simple and easy to use for our customers, and that's what I would love to talk about it.
Great, yeah. Oh, and there's some customers that are using it, and we've got a bunch of things over here on the side describing what Redshift serverless gets you, right? You want to walk through a few of these, Ashish?
Yes, so you can get started very easily and focus on getting insights in few seconds. Serverless will provide you consistently high performance because it has the ability to uh, scale up and down based on your workload needs. To get started, you do not need to modify your application. You can just point towards the Redshift serverless and get started. And it's a pay-as-you-go model. You only pay for what you use. You do not pay when the system is idle. And later on my slides, I'll explain you what our pay-as-you-go model is. But in terms of capabilities, it does automatic scaling. You do not manage the infrastructure because everything is provisioned for you. It patches automatically. It fails over automatically. It provides you out of the box monitoring capability. Backups are taken automatically. Routine maintenance task is performed automatically, and we do not have a maintenance window. And out of the box, it is secure and has industry compliance. And we already have many customers that are using it, which I have listed on the slide.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean that's incredible. All of those things are I believe we refer to those as the undifferentiated heavy lifting, right? We don't necessarily want to spend our time patching, but it has to be done. So if you could take that burden off of the team, I think that's pretty incredible. All right, Ashish, what else do we get from serverless?
All right, so we get insights from the data in seconds. You can use our query editor V2 and quickly start querying the data using the SQL. You can get started without any modification. You can point your application to Redshift serverless using JDBC, ODBC. You can load the data very quickly from query editor V2 and get started. Out of the box, Redshift serverless provides consistently high performance because it has the ability to scale up and scale down, even though your workload may have unpredictable demands.
Yeah.
We provide ability to set you limits so that you can always stay under the budgets.
Now, I'm really interested in this get started with node modifications because, like I said, I'm more on the DevOps side, changing an application. That's a big lift in a lot of cases, coming and putting in new libraries, working with things that we haven't worked with before. That puts a strain on a development team. So I love that you could actually just utilize the tools you're already using, like JDBC. That's very standard for a lot of people that are connecting up to all different types of data tools. So can you talk to me more about that, getting started with no modifications?
So we provide an endpoint details URL that you can replace and start and point towards the Redshift serverless and start using it. So that's how easy we have made, because you do not have to modify your application. All you do is take that endpoint, point towards it, and start connect using favorite tools, either QuickSight, any other your favorite BI tool, and start using Redshift serverless.
That's great. Yeah, some of these cases too, you can't make changes, right? Some of these tools just use JDBC or ODBC, and if you're using any of these tools, you don't necessarily have the capability to change that connection type. So having that JDBC, ODBC endpoint is really important, especially when you're using these types of tools. I love this slide. Walk us through this, Ashish.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, you can simply point towards Amazon Redshift serverless, whatever application you are using, either AWS Lambda, AWS Cloud9, Java, PowerShell, Ruby. You can use JDBC, ODBC driver. We also provide the data APIs. So as you can see, Amazon Redshift serverless intelligently and dynamically do compute management, because it's a machine learning based workload monitoring. The workload management is automated. It will scale. It will tune the data structures automatically. It will do automatic maintenance, and it will perform at scale. You can query the S3 data lake. The data is stored in Redshift managed storage, and you can do federated queries across Amazon Aurora or RDS databases.
Very nice. Very nice. I like that a lot. Very interested in that data API too. Ashish, I know you mentioned at some point we're going to see a demo. In that demo, are we going to see the JDBC connection? Are we going to see the data API? Just can you give us a tease?
I will, in my demo, I will walk you through how you can create the Redshift serverless very quickly, and using the query editor V2, how you can quickly query the data. Awesome. That's what I'm going to show you. And before that, I would actually like you to walk a couple of use cases that Amazon Redshift serverless can be helpful to you. So if you are a new Redshift customer, you should get started with Amazon Redshift serverless, because it supports many type of use cases. I have listed few of them here. Self-service analytics. So if you're doing machine learning, you're doing dashboarding, real-time queries, real-time analytics, or you're sharing data between the departments and want to democratize data between various business groups or even your partners, you can use data sharing with Amazon Redshift serverless. You can start small with ad hoc analytics and expand your use cases as your data grows. Your workload can be spiky. It can be unpredictable in nature. You can even use it for predictable workloads. Or if you're building end-to-end serverless stack where various AWS services provide you the serverless capabilities, Amazon Redshift serverless can be part of it and can help you to give you better performance, take the burden out of managing the infrastructure, and provide you leading price performance. So those are the use cases that we would like to use Amazon Redshift serverless for.
Nice. Yeah, my team's actually using for reporting right now. That's a big case for us. We have to pass up reports up the leadership chain on our team, and we're getting all these disparate sources of data about the program that we run called Game Day, and yeah, we're using that. So very cool.
That's awesome, AM. Let me just point out one more thing. So
Please.
Amazon Redshift Serverless is a flexible choice that we have provided in the data warehousing space. Few of my customers ask, when should I use the provisioned environment and when should I use Redshift Serverless? So if you are a new customer to Redshift, please start with Redshift Serverless, as you do not have to manage infrastructure. If you want more granular control and have a custom provisioning environment, that's when we recommend that you use the Amazon Redshift provision. But at the same time, if your needs are, you do not, you have a need not to manage the infrastructure, you want all the capabilities of automatic scaling, automatic tuning, no maintenance window, I would go ahead and use Amazon Redshift Serverless.
Yeah, that's the beauty of AWS, right? Is choice. If I've got very specific needs to go set up a data warehouse in a very specific way with Redshift, I've still got provisioned options to me. If I don't, I can go use the serverless side. I love
Great.
that. All right, so we've learned a lot about what Redshift Serverless is. I think everybody in the audience wants to see how it works. Can you give us a demo, Ashish? Can you show us setting up the serverless side of Redshift?
Hi, Em. I would love to give you a demo here.
Right.
So let me share my screen and get started here. So you can get started very quickly. And I'm going to show you a quick demo on how to get started very quickly. So if you go into AWS console and Redshift, you will see try Redshift serverless free trial. And you automatically will be on the use default settings. It asks you to review your namespace, which is where your data is stored.
Okay.
It creates a database with the name dev using the default IAM credentials. And it also will create a work group with the default name with your default VPC settings. Of course, you can go and customize your environment and provide your own name.
Right.
And you can set your own IAM roles as well. And the options of audit logging. You can provide your own work group name, which is basically the compute, and select, your own VPC settings. Exactly. But for simplicity today, I'm going to use the default settings and just click on save configuration, and it will create your Amazon Redshift serverless endpoint. So it's in a process of creating. So in interest of time, what I'm going to do is quickly switch to an existing Amazon Redshift serverless endpoint that I have created and show you how to load the data and query it. So I have already created a serverless endpoint with the name Sales Analytics, and I have loaded a data TPC DS, which is a sample database that you get. But I'm going to show you loading of ticket databases here. If you just click on that, it will start loading the data. So right now it is loading the ticket database, and it will finish. And in the meanwhile, at the same time, I will show you to query how quickly you can query the TPC DS data, which comes out of the box, which I loaded here. So I'm going to go, I already have the query up and running, and I'll click on run, and it will give you the results there.
Nice. And so Ashish, this is the, just for anybody who hasn't seen this before, this is the query editor that's built into Redshift that you can access in the AWS console. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct, AM. Here, this is the Redshift Query Editor V2 that I used, and I loaded the ticket data here. You can see it got loaded, and
Yes.
it brings up the queries also. So I have a query sales per event. I can run it and start executing it. So that's how easy and quickly you can get started. You can load the data very quickly, and you can start querying and doing analytics use cases.
Yeah, it's great. And you're just writing standard SQL here in this query editor, it looks like to me, right?
Absolutely. And there are various other functionalities as well. As I mentioned, you can create your database, you can create your schemas, you can create table and functions. You can load your own data. That's what we were talking about, that
Yeah,
any and all the formats are supported here. So you can browse the data and load the data and get started very quickly.
that's great. That's really amazing. And unbeknownst to you as the user, it doesn't matter if it's Redshift provisioned or Redshift serverless. This seems to work the same way, regardless. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. It's pretty seamless. You can get started very quickly and start saving and get the leading price performance out of Redshift.
Yeah, the best part is since it's serverless too, if you're not using your data warehouse, it spins down, saves you some money, right?
Absolutely. As it's a pay as you go model, you only pay when the workload is active. You do not pay when the workload is idle.
Nice.
And I would highly encourage our customers to go out and try Redshift serverless with the $300 free serverless credits that we offer, so that you can try it out and check out yourself.
Nice. Well, I always like to say if it's free, it's for me. So I love that. Do you have any recommendations for people, anywhere to go to learn more or get started? Any documentation you suggest?
Absolutely. I like to show you some quick pointers here. So bear with me a moment. So you can first scan the QR code here to try the Amazon Redshift serverless. As I mentioned, you get $300 free serverless credits to try it out. The price for US East one is 0.375 per RPU hour. And here is the documentation that you can quickly get started with Amazon Redshift serverless. There is a nice explainer video also. And to get started, there is a quick demo that you can go through.
Awesome. This is great. This is a lot of great information. Ashish, thank you so much for joining us today. Really, really cool stuff seen here on Redshift serverless. So go out and try it today. $300 free credit. How can you pass that up? Any parting words, Ashish, before we have to move on to our next segment?
Thank you very much, AM, and thank you for joining us for this session, Amazon Redshift serverless.
All right, stick around for more. We'll be right back.